Hey there, Greater Heartland region. My name is Clark Kendall. I serve as your regional technology trainer. I'm excited to talk teams today. It's let's work together, the basics of team functionality and command. And know that we honor the time that you have taken to carve out watching this video, whether live or at a later point as a recording. And yet, as you have questions, please put them in the comments below. We want to make sure that you leave here with all your questions answered, or at least on the path to get an answer for you. So we're going to be able to share important articles to help you take more in-depth step-by-steps as we introduce Team Command today. And so know that those will be in the comments, but you also have an amazing Market Center tech trainer in your office there that will help walk through this journey with you. Because here's what we know about teams. No team is set up the same, right? No, they'll have the same team members or add the same value or structured the same way. And what we love about Command is it's flexible for almost every single team out there. So ask yourself that question. Kind of how's my team different maybe than some other teams out there? We're gonna have some fun today. We're gonna be pretty visual. So while you're thinking that question, maybe you guys should look and answering that question. What type of team are we? Maybe your husband and wife team, moving and grooving together and getting deals done. Right? You can use Command, or you might be like the three amigos where you have one brand that stands out and all the team members really push that brand or really highlighting that brand together in the service standards they provide. Or you might be kind of individually branded, having your own service standards or ways you serve clients or your own brand within the team, that the team's really not front and center of marketing or those service standards. Like the Avengers, right? You have your own strengths and abilities, and yet you're working together, right? Maybe you're staying with that here. Or maybe you're a recent team that's merged together and you're working out all the kinks of processes and flows, right? Trying to marry those together. You can do that in Command as well. All right. So as you're thinking about how your team is different, we'll tap into that question a little bit more here in a second. But here's our essential goal today. We're going to understand the basics of team functionality and potential value adds for your team. And we want to establish clarity on a specific path for your team, the start of that journey. All right. So let's begin with a fun diagram that I think we all know and love is the triangle, right? We know that leads, listings, and leverage is the way we build a big business. It's the way we control the market. It's the way that we know we have a career worth having, right? One that's sustainable, predictable. And yet we also know that there are components of business that really support these, right? And being able to have a great service plan for our clients and have a live and active database that is growing and being exceptional, building those relationships. All this is also considered supported by our value proposition, not only just to the clients, but also a question I want to ask you here. What value do you seek for your team members? That's a fundamental question that we always revisit, not only within our own market centers, but teams. As a team, what value do you seek for your team members? What attracts talent into your world and what keeps them there, right? Or at least where it makes sense to keep them there. So ask yourself that question. I'm gonna go through some more detailed questions to kind of unpack that loaded question. So you might answer yes or no, or you know what, I'd like to do this. Can I do this? Can I please start? In answering these questions, jot these down, take a screenshot or pause the video, whatever makes sense to jot them down. But answer these questions. Do you provide leads for your agents, whether presently or in the future? Would you like to? Do you provide lead gen systems for your agents? A certain way of categorizing hot buyers or sellers, or cold buyers and sellers, or even certain scripts that you provide within the team. Do you provide drip campaigns to all your agents' databases, a relationship plan that is across all your databases, or not? Is it more individual? Is it vital for you as either a support staff or a rainmaker or team members to see all potential and current transactions for your team? That's a big question. Big question. I think most often, more than not, we answer that as a yes. Not always, and yet that's a frequent one that we answer yes. You can do that in Command. Do you share the same service standards for your buyers and sellers? Right? Go to listing presentation. Does every single listing have the same? No matter what agent is serving that listing or that potential seller, is the same process? Once things go under contract, this is the same process. Do you provide contract close services for your agents? Good question to answer there. And do you provide marketing media? I would even add some social media management for your team members. All right, all these are important questions to go through command. So, because yes, depending on how you answer that, you can or cannot or don't have to do these things in command. All right, so let's get a little bit more visual here. I'm going to share a different screen. Make sure I've got the right one to share here. And there we go. And I do want it to show here. Okay. So step one, right? You want to make sure that if you have a team, that they're in command. And there'll be an article in the comments section of adding team members to your team. And so that's the work is actually done on the back end within your office. Your MCA will be able to add team members to your team. There's a place you can check that. I'll show you that here in a minute. But what we know is as soon as somebody logs into their command account, that you have one command login to rule them on. Whether you're on a team or not, you only need one command login, right? And we can set up things where you don't have to share logins amongst your team members. Any support staff, executive assistant, admin does not have to log in the Rainmaker to get things done. That support staff can log into their own command account, right? But we're going to get them on the team. We're going to figure all this out. And then when you log in the command, whether you're on a team or not, it looks very, very similar. And one quick indication whether or not you're on a team, click on your name in the top right-hand corner. And if you're on a team, you'll see at least 2 accounts. Right now, if you're in multiple market centers, you can actually have multiple teams in this dropdown, which makes it very handy. Yeah, we're just going to focus on this. So on one team and one market center. So if you're on a team, it'll look similar to this example here, where we have one account here at the top where it says RTT Rainmaker. That is the name of this associate and this training account for the screenshot I've got. All right, so this is the team account in command. All right, it's designated that that's the one I've got selected. If you're also on a team, every team member will also have a personal account. Right. So if you're seeing other account underneath there, whether you presently have the team selected, right, or where the personal would be below that, or they might be flipped. If you selected the personal account, this would actually be on top and they would be flip-flop, right? But the good news is if you see both there, you're on the team. It's important to understand this personal versus team account because that's where all the questions are kind of answered. So again, to get visual here, I've got two versions of command of all the applets that we have in command here to kind of clear the air and help us understand, okay, what is the difference between team and personal, all right? So, again, every single team member, when they log into command, we'll just call this Team Awesome. All right. Very creative there. Team Awesome. All right. And let's say we have here Rachel Rainmaker. Make sure that's showing up. Good. Rachel Rainmaker. So when Rachel Rainmaker logs in, she will have that team account and also the personal account, just like we saw in the drop downs, right? So here's something also really good to know. If I'm focused on the team account and I had that team account selected at the top right, again, where I just showed you where it was selected for RTT Rainmaker, it'll appear that every single one of these icons here on the left-hand side that we always see in command are available for the team. Okay. Now we know for sure that if we toggle on our personal account, right? If I select my personal account or if I've been in command for a while, that every single one of these applets work for me for being a solo agent, right? That's not the case for the team. And so what I really want to first dive into is, well, what is teamified, has team functionality, and what doesn't? So presently, as of Thursday, September 2nd, Contacts absolutely has a team component to it, right? And actually this team contacts, this what we call the database, this is a team database. So if Rachel Rainmaker logs in, she selects her team account, the contacts that are in here are completely different than these contacts that are in her personal account. As a matter of fact, anything that's in this personal account, there's no way, shape, or form that anyone on the team could see these personal contacts. They are completely blocked from anyone seeing them on the team account, right? And that's for every single associate. Just to dive into contacts a little bit, every single associate, every single team member does have their own personal account. We haven't shut that off or having the ability to shut that off within the team. So you have your own personal account, right? It's very, very important to understand that if you have a personal contact database, right, that no one can see that anybody on the team, if they toggle on the team, they won't see your database there or your contacts, right? Well, you might be thinking to yourself, well, that's good. So take note of that. If you answer that question, I don't want them to see my database. Okay, want to dive into that a little bit more, but know that right now that's where we're pretty flexible for those team members that for those teams that want to keep their personal database to run their own drip campaigns and keep their database separate from the team. You can do that, right? And we can still tap into some team other functionalities here. Other things that are currently teamified, we have smart plans, right? So of course we've always had smart plans in personal account. Well, you do have separate smart plans for the team, right? These smart plans can only be accessed by the team members, and you can't necessarily easily copy, or you can't just take a team smart plan and apply it to your personal account, not automatically. But just know that you have your own separate team smart plans that you can deliver and provide for your teammates. Also here, opportunities, that's a big one. It has some team functionality here. Opportunities, we have a team pipeline. Right now, if you've been in opportunities before, you know that you've had a personal pipeline for a while, and you still do have a personal pipeline, more than likely by default. But there can be a personal pipeline, and there's definitely a team pipeline. One thing that we are able to do within the team account is we can shut off these personal pipelines if the Rainmaker or the team decides to where there can only be opportunities created in the team account, right? More, and again, we'll provide articles for all this, but just kind of laying down the functionalities of what we have in Teams. So to get all your team transactions in one spot, yeah, we can do that. You got to do that through the team account and put them in the team pipeline. Also here, what we're really excited to share now, we've been a month into this, campaigns. We now have team campaigns. You can now send, you can create Facebook ads or Instagram ads through the team account. And because prior, when we were having, say, leads created through Facebook ads and bringing in the team account, that was actually done in the Rainmaker's account, Rainmaker's personal account. And we were just automatically moving them over to the team account. No longer is that the case. Now, if you choose to do so, Rachel Rainmaker or Bobby the buyer's agent, they can create their own personal campaigns all day long, right? And any leads that come in will definitely go in their own personal contacts. But now we have the ability to create our own Facebook ads or Instagram ads and have them go into the team database automatically. So we kind of separated that out. All right. There's also the ability in designs, or excuse me, not in designs and campaigns, to post social media posts for your team members, whether it's one that you create for the team and that you can repost on their own personal pages. Yet we do have some functionality for that as well. As of today, again, those are the major team functionalities. Just to revisit, contacts, you definitely have a team database. Smart plans, you definitely have your own team smart plans. We have a team opportunities pipeline and campaigns. All right. Coming soon, we'll also have designs coming up to where the team can create postcards, flyers, anything that's in designs, and share that amongst their team members. We're very excited about that to come. So just know that when you log in the command, and even though you might have that team account toggle at the top, that doesn't mean you can use every single one of those. So yes, you have some tasks. Yet just know that if you're familiar with smart plans, right, you can create automatic tasks within smart plans for anybody in your contacts database. Whether those tasks are created in the team account or in the smart plans account, those tasks will actually show up as personal tasks as it is today. Right. You'll still be able to access them, but know just when you click on tasks today, it's simply your individual associate tasks. Okay. We just kind of coupled them together a little bit with smart plans. All right. So from here, just know that that's important, right? That this whole team versus personal, that there is a great divide here. All right. So, I mean, again, anything that's in your personal account, there's no team member that can see any smart plans that you have. They cannot see any opportunities, transactions that you've created. They cannot see any contacts. Right. And that's as designed, right? To be flexible for those teams that want to keep their personal stuff personal and maybe just tap into one little item of value in the team account. All right. Again, as you have questions, they're probably already buzzing. The challenge with teaching and training on teams is, as we start to flow here, the, the first question that comes to mind, or first question we usually receive is, well, hey, here's how my team is set up, and here's how we kind of roll. What should I do? How is this helpful? Which is great. And so we'd love to be able to connect with your Market Center tech trainer to help answer some of those nuanced questions for your teams, and yet know we're covering very basics here in the structure. Okay, so know that Team Awesome here. Again, this is Rachel Rainmaker and her account. Again, it would be this exact same if Bobby, the buyer's agent, right, was added to the team, he would have a personal account, and the team account. Every single associate would have a personal versus team account. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to share a different screen here, and let's get going with some actual command visuals here. We'll take about probably about 7 or 8 more minutes, just kind of go through the basics here, and allow you to have those access to those articles in the chat there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and I'll stop the screen here. Let me do a new share. And I know this is going to look crazy just for, well, let me go over here. There we go. And share that. There we go. All right, so we're in command here. I'm in this RTT Rainmaker account. So again, me as a Rainmaker, I know I'm in the team account. First thing you need to check here is, well, what team members are on my team? If you are in the team account, you've got the team account selected here, then you want to go to settings. All right, so I just clicked on settings there. And also know, actually, I'm going to share a different screen because my little cursor is not showing. It would not be too helpful, would it? Let's share that. And bear with me. All right, there we go. So when I'm in settings here, right, I got the team account selected. I clicked on settings. We do want to go here on the far left-hand side to general settings. It's important to note that this default account is here, right? So what this does is if I click on default account, as soon as I log into command, what account do I want to be selected first? Do I want to have the team selected, or do I want my personal account selected, right? Based on how you want to structure and what work you do the most in, that's what you want to choose your default. Might be different for some of us. Next is team management. Here's where step one, you want to review this. What team members are here and what team members need to be here, or what are maybe some team members that are no longer on the team we need to fix. If there's a bunch of changes you need to make here, I would suggest sending one email to your MCA to have those changes made in the team administration tool that they have access to. Or if it's just a one-off change that you need, you can add member here. And so this would be for adding member. You can add a team member, and this will just shoot an email to your MCA and allow them to add that team member. There's some information you can put in here of letting that MCA know who they are, who that team member is, but also know when you add a team member, there's this guest user. So every team account does have two accounts they can create guest users for. So this would be associates outside of Keller Williams, or if they happen to see maybe that they're on another team, right? And maybe it's a third-party TC. You could add them as a guest user or something like that. All right, so check these folks, make sure they are. And if you need somebody to be removed, then you can request a role change or a removal on there. Know this about the role, that the individual associate, the admin assistant, Rainmaker, that's more just for designation and identification purposes. It doesn't really relate to any functionality, what you can or cannot do in command. It's just more for identification. Now, what I will say, there is a caveat to that. The Rainmaker, by default, will have more functionality than anyone else. Permissions, that's where it all comes down to what I can or cannot do on a team. So just to roll through these here, we have standard, enhanced, and unlimited. And you'll see here, RTT agent, consider that an agent that's not the Rainmaker. In this example, has standard permissions. And we also have somebody, the executive assistant or admin, that has enhanced, and the Rainmaker has unlimited. Well, what's the difference? I love this little button here at the top that says permissions, because what it allows me to do is, well, what is the difference? In a very visual way, Standard tells me, I have only view. Let's start at the bottom here. Standard, I have only view access to the team's command when it comes to contacts and opportunity. Well, with the exception of contacts or opportunities. So going back to that little diagram where I was saying, hey, here's the team functionalities. If you have standard permissionings, you cannot create a smart plan within the team, right? You cannot create a campaign, a Facebook ad within the team account. Not to say you can't do it in your personal account, you can, but in a team account, if you have standard permissionings, you cannot, right? Now, while it says with the exception of contacts and opportunities, know this, all right? This standard permissionings, you can you can have your own database. So say Bobby, the buyer's agent, he has his contacts in his personal command account, right? And if you're watching this, or that there's agents on your team that want to keep their database may not want other agents on the team to see them, right? It would logically makes sense to keep them in the personal account. Well, what's really cool about the standard permissionings is if all the agents have standard permissionings on a team, all the team members have standard permissionings, they are not able to see one another's contacts when they're moved over into command and the team side of command. All right. So there is a way that you can keep your database and bring it in the team command. There's an ownership layer there, and where the team can choose who gets to see that database, right? So say Bobby's a buyer's agent, brings his 200 contact database over in the team account. He'll be able to see his own contacts because he will be the owner of those contacts when they're moved over. And anyone with enhanced or unlimited would be able to see those contacts for the intent to serve them and to provide leverage in whatever way, whether it's adding smart plans to those folks, taking notes, putting, just anything that you would want to do with a contact, right? But let's say Annie, the listing agent, is also on the team, and she brings her 200 contacts in, and she has standard permissionings. Annie and Bobby will not be able to see one another's contacts. They would only see the ones that they own. So to demonstrate that, I'll go into contacts here in a second, just to show you that. But if we have time here, because we're about to wrap up. Yet know that Enhance pretty much gives you almost unlimited access with the exclusion of being able to hard delete or export team contacts. You also aren't able to manage any team members, right? So someone with enhanced permissioning is unable to add team members, unable to remove them, make the requests. Only Unlimited could do that, right? One helpful piece while you're here, right? This full permissions breakdown, if you want to understand the hows, the whats, the nuances of this team functionality, this is a great breakdown based on the different applet or tool in command of what you can or can't do based on permissionings. Team management, only Unlimited can manage team members. Contacts, of course, Unlimited can do everything. However, you'll see here, Enhance cannot delete, archive contacts, or export contacts, right? However, you're a standard permissioning person on the team. You can view the lead pool. If there's a lead pool, you can add contacts, import contacts, right? You cannot do these other pieces, and there's a lot there. But just know that, again, if you own your own contacts in the team account, you can see those, manage those, just as if you were to do that in your personal account. Same here for smart plans. All right, that's a full breakdown there. We'll get more here once designs come. That's a little teaser there for designs. So it's not present here. So even though it's here, we don't have team designs functionality just yet. All right, so I'll walk through one exercise here, kind of to show you the team functionality and the most questions that we get, and then we'll wrap up. Please put any questions you have in the command or in the chat here. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to my personal account and as a Rainmaker, and I'm going to focus on a contact here. Let's just look at Boris. All right, so I've got Boris here, and from here, you'll notice here, I want to draw attention here to this lead source. Okay. On this lead source and account, I want to focus on the account. This tells me exactly what I need to know. Actually, more account, not necessarily lead source. The account tells me this is RTT Rainmaker. That shows me I'm in my personal account and my personal contacts. I know which account this contact lives in. The owner is me, of course, the RTT Rainmaker, that being my name in this account in this instance. And so that just shows me that that I own this contact in my own personal account, which makes sense. Why would I not? What I want to do is move this contact over to the team account. And we'll put an article on how to bulk do this. But I'm going to change account. I'm going to go move this to the regional technology trainer team away from my personal account. All right. And then you'll notice here that Boris is now gone while I'm in my personal account. So let me toggle to the team account. And you'll notice this is different information for, or it's different contacts than we had in the personal account. And if I were to type in Boris, I don't think we have that many Borises. Let me try typing that in here again. There we go. There's Boris. Now, here's the cool thing. If there were still other folks in my personal account, because I am in the team contacts, if I search this bar, it's going to show me if somebody doesn't show up, but they're in my personal account, it'll tell me that in a little disclaimer here and can allow me to go to my personal account really quickly. So let's click on Boris here. Well, what happened? You'll notice that this changed. I'm no longer in the RTT account, RTT Rainmaker account, my personal account. I'm in the team account. This contact, Boris, is in the team account now. What's super cool is there's still a layer of ownership. It shows RTT Rainmaker. All right. Now, what's really cool about this contact lives in the team account. Anyone that had any team member that has standard permissionings is unable to see this contact unless me as the owner. Now, granted, I'm the Rainmaker here. I would be able to see everyone's contacts based on my unlimited permissions. Yet, because I own this contact, I'm able to see it. And I also know that no one else is able to see it. So the only people that can see their own contacts, if you have standard permissionings in the team, is if you own the contact or if you're assigned the contact. Definition of assignee is the person who's most best suited to nurture that relationship over time, right? So another question that we get while we talk about team opportunities here, because we do have a team pipeline. So you notice here, when you click on opportunities, we don't really have to toggle back and forth here at the top. We actually toggle between here. So if you go to opportunities, you'll see your team pipeline. You might see your personal pipeline. There is a way for you as a team to turn off the personal pipelines for your team members. So if you answered yes to the question, you want to see all the transactions your team members are doing, I'll take a pause here, go to settings, under command settings, I'm on the team account here, under command settings, then opportunity settings. We're going to click on team permissionings. This should be, I think this is defaulted to no, that no team members can create private opportunities, but toggling this off, when your other team members outside of the Rainmaker go to opportunities, they will not see their personal pipeline here. When they create an opportunity, they will not be able to create an opportunity on their personal pipeline. They will have to choose the team, which is probably preferred. If you answered yes to that question, we want to see all the transactions, all right? So when I go to create an opportunity now, and I type in Boris, and he's going to show up because I have a team opportunity that I've created, right? If I actually go to Boris, let me go find Boris real quick, because there's a fundamental thing you also need to understand, that any contacts that is in the team account, you can only create a team opportunity for. I can't take Boris here. When I go to create an opportunity for him, let's say through his contact record, there's a couple ways I can create an opportunity. All right. I cannot, if you notice that there, let me do that again. When I create an opportunity, it shows Boris here as a client. As soon as I select away from the team, it takes Boris away, because Boris is a team contact and I can only create a team opportunity for him. That's the same in the personal account. All right. So hopefully that kind of clears up some of the biggest questions that we have. We're right at 30 minutes here. I know we probably got a ton of questions. I hope this is a good basic pieces here. We'll have another training that is a follow-up for some more team advance, but please know that hopefully this lays the foundation. Reach out to your Market Center Tech trainers. We get a lot of fun questions on teams. And so if they don't know the answer, they'll reach out to me. We'll figure that out within our Market Center Tech Trainer. Not saying I have the answers, but we'll figure out with our amazing tech trainer community and get you on a path for success. Appreciate you carving out the time today. Hope to connect with you. If you're finding success in here, we'd love to be able to highlight your team and what you're doing in command, whether it's been a great transition or a clear transition for you, or you're saving yourself time, streamlining your processes, gaining more business through this team account. Take care.